Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you for joining us for our final weather update for 2022, recorded on Friday, December the 23rd. And we've got a special extended update today going right out to January 1st. So let's take a look and see what is going on at the moment. Now, that low pressure zone that's been bringing all the downpours and thunderstorms to New Zealand, and a remarkable severe thunderstorm last night around Gore, that system's falling apart, pretty much gone now. The yellow you see on this map showing higher air pressure moving on in. We've got some leftover low pressure around Nelson and a little bit here near the Chatham Islands, but this is all slowly fading away, but does still leave behind just a little bit of instability as we go into the weekend, which means we're not actually finished yet with those afternoon downpours and thunderstorms. They're going to be around for a little bit longer just yet. The other main feature on the map, the storm well down in the Southern Ocean. About a week and a half ago, we looked at that thinking it was going to come up and bring a pretty stormy Christmas weekend, but luckily the modelling has shown it more and more likely to be way down into the south, but maybe producing a bit of a westerly breeze over in Tasmania. And up in the tropics as we head into Christmas weekend, plenty of easterlies, extra heat and humidity around Fiji and Vanuatu at the moment, with plenty of thundery activity just to the north of the country. Let's have a look at the next 5 days rainfall, taking us through to Wednesday next week. Now, this is all mostly at the bottom of the scale, the pale blues, the greens, the yellows. This is a sign of afternoon downpours, which we're going to be seeing over the weekend around Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. That's the bulk of that, and a little bit of a cold front moving through next week just drives in a little bit of wet weather to the western side of New Zealand. So more of the downpours, but a lot of dry weather is on its way. Over in Australia, look at this. Remarkable amount of rain coming down. It's right here at the end of the scale, getting up over 200 millimetres potentially for Northern Territories all the way down to Alice Springs. Also some very heavy rain coming in for parts of Queensland. In fact, a large portion of Queensland has wet weather on the way. Place to be over the next few days will be Western Australia, South Australia, Victoria as well. I won't say Tasmania because you might have a bit of a windy westerly, but the perfect places through that bottom section there. No doubt I've offended someone. Let's get into the forecast. Here we are on Saturday, Christmas Eve. So we are seeing those afternoon downpours once again around New Zealand. This map is actually for the very end of the day, about 5-6 p.m. Normally we show you the lunchtime map, but the lunchtime map shows you very little, whereas the end of the day one shows those rain clouds bubbling up. So there could be a bit of morning cloud, a few showers in the morning, likely to break away. The sun comes out and all of a sudden you've got those thunderstorms, and we've also got thunderstorms lining up across a large portion of Australia here on Saturday. Let's go to Christmas Day. So here is the close-up of New Zealand, and it's the same forecast we've been seeing. Again, this is the end of the afternoon, not the morning. We've got two sets of wet weather showing up on this map. You've got the afternoon downpours and thunderstorms potentially along the eastern side, mostly around inland areas and in the ranges. That's where they usually bubble up. And the second feature is this cold front, very weak, but moving into the western side there around Fiordland and Westland with a little bit of wet weather. And it looks perfectly dry for Sydney, Melbourne and Hobart on Christmas Day. Let's take a bigger picture, still the same day. Up in the tropics, just the usual thunderstorms. In fact, it's going to be pretty hot in Fiji and Vanuatu, but actually not overly stormy. The wet weather is mostly in Queensland, Northern Territories. It's dry and settled almost everywhere else, but a little bit breezy around Tasmania. That'll only probably lift your temperatures up further in Hobart. Let's get into next week. So Boxing Day. High pressure is now starting to move into New Zealand, but we've still got a few of those afternoon downpours just bubbling up here and there. And on the top end of that high pressure zone, windy easterlies coming in around Brisbane and other parts of coastal Queensland, bringing in a few showers for you. And yes, more thunderstorms sitting there. By Tuesday, this is not the thunderstorms. This is now a cooler change coming through. We've got some interesting weather on Tuesday because as that high comes in, dredges up a cooler change, comes through as another east to northeasterly that's cloudy, showery. Daytime high in Dunedin on Tuesday is 14. Over here in Adelaide, same day, your daytime high close to 40 degrees, about 37 at the moment because of this hot wind coming down and the tropical airflow as well with it. So a fair amount of heat coming through for South Australia as we get to Tuesday. Let's move into Wednesday. Not much to talk about, although that slightly cooler easterly with a few showers comes into Hawke's Bay and Gisborne, but it won't be much. And after the wet weather you've had, you'll barely even register that. But pretty much high pressure is in charge on Wednesday in the New Zealand area, and a bit windy in this southeastern corner due to stormy stuff down here in the Southern Ocean. To Thursday, that high moves a little further out across New Zealand. It's still mostly dry though. I mean, yes, there could be a little shower or two here and there, but generally speaking, dry across New Zealand as we go through next week and even right up to Friday, although there's another brief little southerly coming in for Southland. Not so much in the way of any big thunderstorms, but a cooler change and a few showers coming through for you at the end of the week. And in Australia, those showers up in Queensland slide down the coast. In fact, they come right down into parts of coastal Victoria as we get to the end of next week. So final two maps, here we go. So we've got New Year's Eve. Now these could still change a wee bit. We don't normally go this long range, but this is the setup at this stage for New Year's Eve. And this map is for in the evening, not daytime, but actually into the evening side of things. 9 p.m. in New Zealand, around 6 or 7 o'clock over on the eastern side of Australia. So a bit of an easterly wind blowing for northern parts of New Zealand. There might be a shower around Gisborne or East Cape, maybe a shower around the Bay of Islands, maybe. Not locked in, high pressure mostly in charge, and showery down the Australian coastline, really from Brisbane to Sydney, Victoria, wet on one side, hopefully dry for Melbourne though, and same story down around Hobart. A couple of showers around, nothing too much. Dry over there in Perth. I can point to you. There we go. Don't be too lazy. And let's go to New Year's Day. So here we are, the very first day of 2023, and for New Zealand, high pressure. Still chugging along, moving through, bringing mostly dry weather, but the nor'easter could be around in Canterbury. Might be a little bit breezy for tents and awnings. As someone who used to camp a lot, it doesn't take a lot of wind to have a bit of a restless sleep. So it could be a little bit breezy, but again, no big storms showing up, no massive rainmakers. The tropics, even here on the 1st of January, low pressure zone near Vanuatu, but otherwise it's the usual kind of stuff, although the monsoon rain sliding down affecting Tonga and maybe some of the other islands further to the east up towards Samoa and out further east of that even. And the last feature, low pressure zone out there in Western Australia, but that's all kind of normal for this time of the year. So there we go, that is the forecast right through to the 1st of January. Now we are on holiday, at least for doing these videos. We're not back until the middle of January, around about the 18th or 19th. It's the middle of the week anyway, so nearly a month away. However, we will still be updating our websites, ruralweather.co.nz and weatherwatch.co.nz. You can download our free app. We've got a new app coming out in 2023 that lets you do your own alerts. You set the criteria for your local property and then you will get the alert. So it's a brand new way of doing things. And we're also pleased to be working with Met Service, including their warnings and watches as well, that you can also set up through this app. So that's coming out later in 2023. And before I go, a big thank you to Met Service. We've actually really enjoyed working closely with them this year, behind the scenes. Interested to see where that's going to be going in the future, but really enjoying our relationship with them. And the last thing I want to say is a big thank you to all of you. We've had some really amazing conversations on YouTube this year, some really great feedback. Thank you so much for the generous financial donations some of you have made. That's really means a lot to us, even if it's just $2 up to $50, either way. Just thank you so much for doing that. So we appreciate it. We love the support. We're looking forward to 2023. We're going to make some changes, some positive investments into what we're doing. And we really couldn't be doing it without all your support. So thank you. Have a great Christmas, a great summer, be safe, and we look forward to seeing you again in the middle of January. Oh, one more thing. If there is something major, a tropical cyclone or something like that, chances are we probably will activate and put up a video. But at this stage, at least as you can see for the rest of this year, there's not too much to talk about, at least in the severe weather side of things. Have a great summer. We'll see you in January.